the last Wednesday of the month, so you know what time it is. It's time for you to go ahead and enter into the man cave. Real quick, what play we gonna run?
You do look like a coach, though, man. You do look like a coach.
But Deion Sanders is not making $93 million.
Now, you don't never dip your pen in the company ink.
I'm glad you said pen. I thought that was going a different way.
No,
I didn't know where that was about to go.
Well, you can clip this. If I gave you $168 million, I want to know what type of fabric software you're using on your initiatives. You know what I'm saying?
If he could be described in 3 words, he's so horny at that moment. Yeah, I said that. That's going in the highlight tape. I know it is. You know, after that.
Oh no, you know what I'm saying?
You just ahead because once we get on Patreon, we're gonna have that platinum tier for the platform sports talk show. You know what I'm saying?
We need some platinum sponsors. That's what we need. You know what I'm saying?
Missing.
Man,
Knee alone. Friday, knee alone.
Fresh Prince knee alone.
The best man. Knee alone. Man.
Well, anyway, it was a good run while it lasted. So
then they were exactly who we thought they is.
And that's why we say we look at the guys that are in our OTE arena is who are you?
Crazy story. The first time I touched a basketball court, I cried. I didn't want to go. They forced me to go. They put me in the van.
It's a give back to allow the young people to experience the game, to learn the fundamentals the right way.
All right, so it's the Man Cave coming to you live from the Platinum Sports Talk Network. My bad, Smooth. I won't mess it up no more. I got you, man. I got you. All right, you know what?
It's the platinum show, man. It's a platinum
the show is platinum. That's why I keep saying it. It's so.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Man Cave. It's the first Wednesday of the month, so you know what that's all about. It's the Man Cave. You see, it's me. It's that T-B-O-N-E. That's right, it's me, T-Bone Funk, here for the first Wednesday of the month, the Man Cave. And you know what? Hey, I'm not the only one. It can't just be me, right? It ain't the Man Cave with just one man. We got to get some fellas in here. So first, let's go ahead and bring in one of the fellas who started this whole thing off. You know him as many names, and I've known him for a long time and called him many myself. His name is Sadal the Selector.
Yeah, you calling me names now. Okay. Well, the only thing you could call me right now is the real estate DJ, man. Sadal the Selector, man. Once again.
Well, you know, hey, look, what's been going on with you, man? You seem like a busy. As a matter of fact, what's the? You know, I got HBCW on my chest. What you got on your chest? Say it with your chest, man.
Man, it's the tribe, y'all. You know, the legendary tribe called Quest, man. That's what I'm repping right now.
Well, you know, that's what's up. But hey, you know what? Look, we're not the only ones here. And you know, you and I, we have our differences in a bunch of things, one of them being football of the NFL variety. But one thing we had been united with on this season had been the Battlehawks, and someone who's all of a sudden interested in the XFL, your friend and mine, the blackest man in all of radio, Craig Black.
Did we say XFL? Was that mentioned already? That's not a topic for another like 30 minutes. If 30 minutes, right? Why did we bring that up? Hey, fellas, good to see y'all. Good afternoon. Good evening. What's up, St. Louis family? Yeah, it's me, Craig Black. And I'm rocking on my chest. I got a little bit of Ralph Lauren. Oh, is that Ralph Lauren? But a little polo. It's all good. I didn't know we was representing. I'd have wore my NWA shirt. You know, them dudes with attitudes. But
you know what, Craig? Let's not worry about what's on your chest. Let's worry about what's on the wall behind you, man. What's that all about, man?
Man, come on now. Come on. If you don't know about it, it's community cuts for kids, baby. Hey, you know what? This is my 22nd year doing my cuts for kids in St. Louis. I got a shout out to the platform Sportstalk Network for helping me out, which is platinum to me because they do so much for my program, and it's all about the kids. We got my dates locked in, as you see right underneath my name. August 5th and 6th will be in St. Louis, putting it down with community cuts for kids. Go to the website at craigslistfoundation.org. But that's that. Let's talk some sports, fellas. What's up? What's the deal? What's the word?
There you go. That's the question. That's the big question on everybody's mind. What's the word? You know what? Let's not start with me. You saw my face first. Let's talk Sadal. What's the word, man? What's the word?
Man, we got a big week, and we talked about football. You know, one event coming up, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, the NFL draft. But ahead of the NFL draft, we can finally put a bow on one of the much talked about ad nauseum topics, which is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers finally got signed or not signed, but actually, traded and signed with the New York Jets this week. Finally, we can all stop talking about Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, and now we just can focus on him trying to do something with this struggling franchise, this woeful franchise that I feel sorry for, and I feel their pain. And hopefully, at his age, he can still produce something for him and get him some wins on the board, man.
You know what's funny about Aaron Rodgers? So Aaron Rodgers has a little bit of a resemblance. If we could put that picture back up for 1 second. Aaron Rodgers has a slight resemblance to a huge fan of the New York Jets, Mike Greenberg. Yet, Aaron Rodgers is about 15, 20 years younger than Mike Greenberg and looks like he's about 20 years older than him in that picture. You know what I mean? It's just me.
You know, in football years, he's pretty old.
But I will say, looking at him holding that jersey, he does have man hands.
How old is Aaron Rodgers?
About 39, maybe.
Yeah, 39, pushing 40.
39 years old. Yep, he is. Wow. But you know what's funny today? I saw on one of them talking head shows, I think First Take. He looks more like Max Kellerman than anybody. When they put that side by side between him and Max, I was like, they must got the same daddy. They got the same daddy. That's what that is. That's like
between Max Kellerman, Mike Greenberg, and CM Punk.
It's like that Kofi Kingston and Kimball Walker type of thing going on, man. You know, and it's also like that. I put this on my Facebook page. That Tyrese Maxey and that who was the dude for God dang it, Tyrese Maxey and the dude that's the shooting guard for the LA Clippers. What is his name? Oh, I got it up here. I'm going through my Facebook page. I'm sorry about that, y'all. The dude is Terrence Mann, Tyrese Maxey and Terrence Mann. If y'all put them dudes side by side, they all got the same father. They got the same daddy. Mama was doing her thing. They are like they are twins. Well, what they call them, doppelgangers, doppelganger, something like that.
Doppelgangers.
Yes, they are twinning.
Well, one person that none of us look alike is the normal host of the show, Stanton. And some of y'all may be wondering why Stanton isn't here. You know what? He had some complications today. Just lift him up. He seems to be doing fine right now, but we just wanted to make sure we acknowledge him. You know what I mean? We want to make sure he's getting better and getting up to his full 100%. And hopefully next month he will be the leader of this show, because this is not my normal thing. You know what I mean? But we see Miss Dub says hi, T-Bone, hi, Sadal, hi, Craig, and hi to you, Miss Dub, or our favorite #1 fan out there. So, whoa, look at that. Look at that. Look
hey, at that. We got a picture here.
And then you see Aaron Rodgers. It's crazy. It's crazy talk.
You know what? Here's a fact, fun fact. You don't see Aaron Rodgers and Mike Greenberg in the same place a lot, do you?
Well, you'll see him in the same place now that he's with the Jets, because that's Greenberg's favorite team. So anyway, we don't want to get hung up on Aaron over there. So let's go to another person in the class. Craig, what did you bring for show and tell, or what's the word? You know what I mean? What did you bring for the day?
Man, come on, let's talk about what's going on right now. The word was 2-word, Jimmy Buckets. Let's talk about how my man Jimmy Butler just took over the series of my team that I thought was going to win it all. They're up 3-1 right now, those Miami Heat. And Jimmy Buckets dropped 56 on them boys. I think it was 2 nights ago. And it was just, It was one of them games where you just on fire. He just couldn't miss. The first quarter, he dropped 22 points. And I think he scored 21 in the second half. Or whatever the number was, he did his thing. So Jimmy Buckets bringing back this little NBA playoffs been real exciting. It's been some good basketball, but Jimmy Buckets is the word right now, and I think they got at least 3 tries. What they got? Win 3? Yeah. They got at least 3 tries to get the Milwaukee Bucks up out of there. So I think they can do it. They up 3-1 right now. I think they're gonna do it. So. Much love and all the applause go to that dude, Jimmy Buckets, for just balling. The sleeper, the silent killer.
Well, we will get into a little bit more NBA talk in a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I do have an NBA topic myself for what's the word. Like, and look, Draymond Green. Now here's the thing though. I'm torn. You know what I mean? Like, look, people act a fool sometimes, and then sometimes people take advantage of the fact that people act fools. You know what I mean? So, we haven't talked since the stomp heard around the NBA, if you will. And I don't know, dude had him in an ankle lock. He could have been making that claim. What did y'all think of that? What did y'all think? Did y'all think it was all on Draymond, or do y'all think that?
Hell no. Hell no.
Dixon, you're a fan of wrestling.
Got him in the ankle lock. Ken Shamrock.
The stomp itself. Now, a lot of it, I would say, is choreographed in pro wrestling, right? You know, if you look at the stomp, he didn't put his whole weight on the man's chest. He just simulated it, and of course, if we can steal a term, the other guy sold it. And he sold it really good too.
So that's
rolling around on the ground. Oh, come on, man.
Would you say that stomp was more Austin at WrestleMania 38 or Austin in 1998?
I give Austin in 98. I give him that much, but still, come on, man. And I think they said, well, because of his history, he was suspended a game for it. But I'm like, okay, you didn't suspend Joel Embiid, but okay, who's counting? All right. I don't know. It's just the officiating just been so inconsistent, man.
I think it's BS that he got suspended too. But you gotta applaud the Sacramento Kings for doing what they did, because it was smart. Come on now, they knew he was emotional. They knew they got at him. You got these young ballers doing stuff like veterans would do to set you off, and he fell for it, and it worked in their favor. They got him out the game. They still lost that game that he was out, but it still worked. I think it worked, but they still lost. But nevertheless, I thought it was some good, savvy veteran type of move that the big man, what is Sabonis? That's what his name. Is that his name? Get his name? I don't know which one he was. Anyway, but anyway, I thought it was smarter than, because Draymond is so damn emotional. He can't calm down, can't control himself. So it is what it is.
The funny thing is that this is what Draymond was doing to people 8 years ago, and now he's the recipient of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the circle of life. You know what I mean? It's the circle of life.
Mm-hmm. Got him. Guide him.
You said you were torn. What was you torn about?
Well, I mean, because Draymond's been Draymond, and every now and then he does some stuff and gets other people riled up. Now he got riled up, and everything has consequences. But hey, look, you know what? I gotta say, we're actually keeping on time here today. You know what I mean? Like, we are actually getting it. So before we bring our special guest on, hey, look, this is the Man Cave. See, I almost said something else there. This is the Man Cave, and let's talk about where you can see the Man Cave real quick before we bring our special guest on. You can catch us on the Roku channel. You can catch us on Facebook at the Platform Sports Talk Show, Twitter at 314 Sports Talk, Instagram at Platform Sports Talk Show, and hey, you can send us an email to platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com if you'd like to see us at your special events, or you want to know who you want to bring onto the show. Let us know. Send us a message on one of those platforms. Speaking of platforms, you can catch us on Hot 365 Radio, where it is always hot out there. You can catch us on twitch.tv/Hot 365 Radio if you want to check us out on your streaming device of some sort. And you know what? This is the Man Cave, and next week will be Ladies Night, where you can catch the ladies, where they bring out their opinions and tell us everything they got to say that will, based on what they see from sports. You only get it the first Wednesday of the month. That's coming up next week. And you'll also be able to see the regular Platform Sports Talk Show every week, every Wednesday moving forward. And hey, look, I told you we got a special guest. Not in the building, because we all in different buildings, but we got a special guest. So let me go ahead and give you a little breakdown real quick. He is a co-host of the Opening Drive with Randy Carricker and Brooks Grimsley from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. weekday mornings on 101 ESPN. Carey's athletic career began at Hazelwood Central High School, where he won a state championship his sophomore year in football. Carey's football career continued at the University of Illinois, where he helped lead his team to the first outright Big Ten championship in nearly 20 years. After graduating in 2003 with a degree in sports management, Davis fulfilled his dream of playing in the NFL. Which Davis are we talking about, fellas? Which Davis are we talking about? See, I ain't said first names yet. Davis signed a contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers and earned a starting fullback job to begin the season. Davis proved to be a crucial weapon in the Pittsburgh offense and helped lead the Steelers to an amazing victory in 2009 at the Super Bowl. I wish I was a lot better at Roman numerals offhand, but Carey's broadcasting career began as an analyst for the St. Louis Rams on 101 ESPN, and then as a sideline reporter for the Fighting Illini. Davis would go on to coach at his alma mater, starting in 2018 as the new head coach of Hazelwood Central. Please, everybody, welcome to the Man Cave, our special guest, Carey Davis.
All right.
How was that? You muted right now. How was that? How was that?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's going
All
on?
right.
Man, that was you did your thing with that one. I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Now look, because I wasn't fast enough to catch up on the Roman numerals, let's go ahead and clarify that for the folks out there. Which Super Bowl are we talking about? 2009 Steelers versus Cardinals. Who are we talking about?
That would be Super Bowl 43.
43. All right.
Yes, sir.
Woo.
Yep.
All right.
XLIII.
I was reading too fast for my brain to catch it.
I understand. It's not a problem.
So look, we see that Steelers jersey in the background there. So look,
yeah.
So tell us, man, what's going on with you these days? What's going on?
Oh man, just doing the radio thing, working, doing the opening drive, as you said, with Randy Carricker and Brooke Grimsley, 7 to 10 a.m. 101 ESPN here in St. Louis. And if you got the app, you can check us out on the app as well. We give you a talk, we're talking about St. Louis sports. We get a little national things as well, but Cardinals, Blues, Battlehawks when their season was going on, and then we represent. Yeah, so we do it all, man. We try to give the people a little bit of everything, but here in St. Louis, obviously, the Cardinals are a big topic. The Blues are a big topic, so we focus on those. But we get some national stories. I heard y'all talking about the NBA. I'm a Warriors fan, so the Draymond stomp was I was a little bothered by that, but still made it through. They got a game tonight. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, man, we do that, and I'm doing high school football, coaching at Hazelwood Central. Got a lot of good kids, man. Trying to make sure we teach these young men how to turn into grown men and be productive citizens in our community. So, that's something that I'm big on, making sure guys are prepared for life after high school, whether it be college, entrepreneurship, a trade, or military. We don't want young men, especially our young black men, sitting around at the house trying to figure out what to do. So that's our goal as coaches, as me being the head coach and the head coach of our program, making sure that our young men are prepared for life after high school.
Well, let me jump right into it real quick. Let me ask you a question about these young men and the difficulties you see working with these young men. As of a time when you were in high school till now, you're dealing with your coaching, your mentoring, and somewhat raising some of these young men and guiding them. I know that. I know you do. I know you're doing it all, Coach. I know it's all in there. I know you got your hand in everything. So what is your biggest obstacle now from when you were in high school to now and dealing with these young men? What's the biggest? Is it the social media? Is it the grades? Is it the parents? Is it the controlling parent? What is your biggest obstacle right now?
You would think that now that we have so much technology, life will be easier for them, to navigate, to kind of move through and figure things out. But it actually has kind of made it harder. I think some of the things that are difficult is we're in a society now where everybody wants it right now. They don't know the amount of work that is required to be successful. I mean, if you look at social media, it's essentially everybody putting out their highlights. If I put out a highlight tape of my whole life, I mean, it's going to be off the chain, right? It's going to be the best thing in my eyes that I could put together, but it doesn't put out there the lowlights. It doesn't put out there the fact that I got cut 6 times and I had to fight and grind and make my way through. So I think some of these young men and women are so engulfed with the right now and the highlights of everybody's life that they feel like that they're failing if they're not reaching those levels right now. And so that's something that you have to fight through and navigate. In our program, man, we are really adamant about character and making sure that our young men do the right things. And that's not saying they always will. You know, you dealing with 14 to 18-year-olds, so they're gonna make their mistakes, but it's really just showing them and guiding them and showing them how to do things the right way and how to be productive young men and making sure that they're doing the right things to the best of their abilities. But yeah, the social media is tough. I don't really run into any issues in terms of parents and things of that nature, because we're real honest. You know, life is about competition. I mean, everybody, we all got jobs. We all had to interview, which is a competition. You know, somebody else was being interviewed for that job, and you got selected because you're the best person for that job. So that's what life is. It's about competition. Everybody is not going to play in our program. It's going to be the ones that are working the hardest and the ones that are the best. And I tell parents flat out, if your son's not playing, it's for one or two reasons. Either he doesn't know what he's doing or somebody's better than him. And if he wants to play, he has to be better than the person that's across from him or playing the same position. It used to be three things. The other one was if they didn't show up. But if they don't show up now, they're not on the team. So, you know, accountability, being where you're supposed to be, being on time, you know, being a good teammate, all of those things are things that will allow you to be a good adult and have a successful career in whatever path you choose. So that's really, you know, our focus every single day. And, you know, yeah, you're going to have some kids that need a little bit more love and need a little bit more pushing and need a little bit more direction. But all in all, man, they still kids. And so it's on us as the adults to act as adults and carry ourselves in that way and make sure that we're taking care of, you know, the young people in this equation and making sure we're doing the right things on their behalf.
I applaud you with that response, Coach. I'll let Sadal go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, hey, you know, we were talking about the youth, man. Let's just take us back now, you know. Talk about your youth and tell us a little bit about how you fell in love with sports as a youth.
Oh man, I grew up and I'm from St. Louis. I grew up in North County, and so for me, you know, sports was my avenue to do something fun. It was fun. It wasn't fun, you know, sitting in the classroom all day. I needed to get out and run around and do stuff. So I played everything growing up: football, baseball, basketball, soccer, and really learned how to enjoy the game and enjoy the process of the game. And so, you know, it just kind of was a natural progression for me, learning at a young age how to compete and watching, you know, football, Sunday night football, Monday night football, and just really falling in love with the sport really made me want to decide that I wanted to do that for a living. You know, when I got to high school, when I got to Hayesville Central, I didn't know how to get to college. I knew you had to go to college to go to the NFL because I would watch the NFL draft and I would see all these guys drafted from different colleges, but I didn't know how to get to college. And so once I figured that out, I saw college coaches walking the hallways, coming to see some of my future teammates that were really good, Cortland Johnson and Milton Proctor and Jimmy Mitchell. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, if I can just play here and be good, then they're going to come find me. And so I kind of set myself a plan in place as a freshman in high school to be good in high school, start, get a scholarship, go to college, start, get drafted. Unfortunately, I was undrafted, but then play in the NFL. And, you know, for the most part, it kind of fell into place, but it was a lot of work that was required in that to make that happen.
So real quick, there was a comment on the screen earlier that I want to go ahead and acknowledge from our favorite fan, Miss Dub. It says, young people see what their parents and other grown folks have and don't realize how long it took them to get it. If that ain't the truth,
yeah. Yeah, and it go both ways too. Sometimes, you know, young people don't see it. They don't see nothing, and they don't have something to look up to or look forward to. So they kind of feel that way as well. And they feel like, well, I ain't never seen no success. Nobody in my family has done certain things. So why can I, or why should I? And so it can go both ways. It's really for a young person having those conversations and having them understand, look, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard work. Life is going to slap the hell out of you, and you got to get up. And that's why I love football, because in football, I love when people say, man, I ain't never got ran over. I tell them you ain't never played football then. Because everybody I know that played football got ran over at some point. It's just part of life.
You know what's crazy, Coach? What's crazy is I've told my family members, I've told my son's mother, and I told my wife that I wanted my son to get punched in the mouth. Because because I wanted him to be prepared for it. So you need to get, because growing up, I'm a little bit older than you, Coach. I'm a little bit, I got you by a couple of years, but growing up in my era, you were tested a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I believe in this new wave of social media, they don't, everybody's cool with everybody when they see everybody, but they get on social media, they all tough guy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you know what, man, you need to be just to be ready. You know what I'm saying? They were like, you crazy. If he ain't that type of guy, and they gonna have, I was like, there's one time I just wanted to just get punched in the mouth so he could just see and be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? So
how you respond?
How do you respond?
I told my son the same thing. I said, hey, you athletic, you like to talk. I said, I hope you got good hands because somebody's gonna try you at some point, bro. And I know it. And you're gonna have to. I can't save you. That's on you. You're gonna have to figure that out. And that's why I love the game of football. I tell people football and boxing is the only two sports in MMA. Football, boxing, MMA are the only sports you can play them by getting hit in the mouth and then getting up and realize, oh, okay, I can do it. But you gotta get hit right in the face and say, okay, it ain't kill me. I'm good. I can actually do this. And, for me, that's how life is. Life gonna slap the hell out of us. We can have the best plan in the world and have all of our steps, in order and everything we want to do and how we want to do it. And something in life gonna slap you and say, nah, not right now. And so how do you respond to that? Are you able to get up and get right back to it, or are you just gonna lay there and let life kick your ass over and over again? You got to get up.
Variation of that Mike Tyson quote. Yeah, everybody got a game plan until
they get hit in the mouth.
In the mouth. Like to point out that Craig is a troublemaker. We do not endorse.
Hey, Craig, me and you on the same page, bro.
Hey, Coach, we got to do what we got to do, man. Hey.
You better figure it out sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not like I'm the one who puts on the show of people punching each other in the face in front of kids. But listen, people getting punched in the face.
Hey, you gotta figure it out early. Hopefully, you don't have to have too many of those. But if it happens, how do you respond to it, and how do you react?
Now, if you all out there would like to see people get punched in the face, HBCW will be returning to the Orlando Orange County Convention Center on August 12th and 13th. You can watch other people fight through them. All right. So look, Hazelwood Central, a rival school of some other schools out there, including the Normandy School District. But, hey, look, you were pretty successful out there. So let's talk about high school. How was that process? You talked about the recruiters that you saw, but let's talk about what that looked like from freshman year to senior year, just getting out there and playing sports. First of all, what made you choose football?
I'm 5'10". I'm a hooper at heart. Don't get it twisted. I just ain't 6'4", 6'5". I had to choose my path wisely. And so, I had a coach kind of guide me in that direction when I was in 8th grade. And I played basketball in high school as well, but he was just like, hey man, you probably not gonna be 6'5", 6'6", but you can play football. You might want to focus on that. So, I still played basketball and I enjoyed that. But for me, it was always football because I just kind of gravitated towards that and really enjoyed it. And so, like I said, when I got to high school, I ain't have no clue. I didn't know, if you ain't ever been in Hazelwood Central, it's one of the biggest schools, feel like in the world at the time as a freshman, and trying to navigate those halls. But I paid attention. I've always listened and watched more than I talked. And so if you pay attention to what's going on around you, you can really gain valuable information. And so for me, just listening to what was being said, watching what was going on, and seeing that, all of these guys that were older than me, when I was a freshman, they were juniors and a few seniors. They were getting a lot of schools coming in and talking to them. We'll sit at lunch and you'll see the different T-shirts, the different college shirts, Michigan and Nebraska, Colorado and Missouri, Kansas State. And you start to understand that, man, if I take care of my business here, I can go to one of those schools. And so, making sure you do your schoolwork, making sure you can ball and really take care of your business on the field, everything else will kind of fall in line. And that was what I decided that I wanted to do. I wanted to play football. I wanted to be good at it. I wanted to be the best at it. And so, with that comes a lot of hard work. And a lot of times it's sacrifice in anything you do when you're trying to be successful. If you putting so much time into one thing, obviously you're going to miss out on some other things. So, I might not be able to hang out and kick it and do all of those things. I'm going to do it when I can, but probably ain't going to be as much as some other people because I'm focused on the task at hand. And that's what I want to get to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, so tell us about freshman year, freshman year through senior year, how did that work out for you as far as your performance on the field? What are some of the lessons you learned during your time there, playing football? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my freshman year, I played freshman football. And, you say that nowadays to some of these young men, they'll look at you like you're crazy because I think everybody feels like you should be playing varsity if you really nice. And so, we had a really good team my freshman year on the varsity. So I played freshman football. They came, I think, 2 games away from making it to the state. They lost to Hazelwood East in a playoff game, and Hazelwood East went on to win the state title that year. And so my sophomore year, I did all my work in the off season, and I get an opportunity to play, and I get an opportunity to contribute on a damn good state championship team that we had. And so, played a whole lot and scored some touchdowns and played in some playoff games and was felt like a valuable part of that team and helped that team. I wasn't, what I was a few years later when I was a senior, that part of the offense. But, at that time as a sophomore on a team that had, I think we ended up having 8 guys go Division I, FBS, and that's not including any guys that went FCS. So, you had a lot of talent on that team. And so that was really just my first learning experience of, it's guys that work hard, and it's guys that grind, and it's guys that can ball. And if you want to be one of them guys, you got to work. You always have to be working and grinding. And so, did that, had the opportunity to start my next 2 years as a junior and a senior and played well, ran the ball well, scored a lot of touchdowns, and was afforded an opportunity to go to the University of Illinois. And so for me, that was my goal, get a scholarship and go play football. And, I was able to play in the Big Ten. And so that was an exciting moment to just my whole high school journey, from freshman year to senior year, just really understanding how much work is required. It just really set me up for, my next phase, which would be college.
So, go ahead, Craig.
I just want to ask about the University of Illinois real quick. Was that your first choice? Or did you have another? I know you were a fan of a college, being from St. Louis and all that. But was that the school you wanted to go to at first, or was that how it worked out?
So I ain't, it's different now, and I probably sound like an old dude. I got all this gray in my beard, sound like an old man. But it's different now. I only had, I want to say 5 offers, 4 or 5. Missouri, Illinois, Northwestern, Arkansas State, and I feel like it was one more. But those were the only offers that I had. I really wanted to go to Michigan. They were recruiting me heavily, my junior year going into my senior year, and they kind of fell off. But no, Illinois wasn't my first choice. It was actually Northwestern, to be honest. Northwestern was coming off of back-to-back Big Ten championships. They were really, really balling. And I went up there, on an unofficial visit and saw the campus, met the staff, met the coaches, met some players. And I was like, this is where I want to be. And unfortunately, things didn't work out. I needed a 20 on the ACT, and I got an 18 twice. So I couldn't get enrolled into Northwestern. But Illinois was there for me, and I couldn't have made a better decision going to Illinois because it was a pro style offense that they ran. Our offense in college, I think offensively, we had 8 or 9 guys go to the NFL. 4 or 5 of them getting drafted, and 3 of us won Super Bowls. So just from my core years of that offense in college, we all had some guys. So it ended up turning out to be the best thing for me. But no, Illinois wasn't my first choice. Mizzou wasn't my first choice neither. I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's a shocker right there.
Yeah,
Mizzou
ran the triple option, man. I ain't never seen nobody run the triple option on Sunday. I wasn't going.
I hear that. All right.
So
Now-
any special memories from University of Illinois, during your time there?
I mean, winning the Big Ten championship was a special memory for us. I mean, we went to Ohio State. We beat Ohio State at Ohio State. I scored a touchdown at Ohio State. We lost to Michigan. That was our only regular season loss that year, losing to Michigan at Michigan. But it was just an amazing season, man. We were really one game away from potentially playing for the national championship. If we win that game at Michigan, we probably in the national championship game. But it was an awesome season. It didn't end the way we wanted it to. I said we lost to Michigan in the middle of the season, but then we lost to LSU at the end of the year, which obviously wasn't the way you wanted to end it. But all in all, man, to go 10-1 in the regular season, to win the Big Ten outright for the first time in 20 plus years for Illinois. And I'm not mistaken, has not been done since 2001 when we did it. It was really dope to be on campus at that time. And, at that time at Illinois, we was rocking and rolling in football, and our basketball team started going too. We had a young boy named D Brown, my little homie, my little brother. D and Luther and Darren Williams got that thing rolling for the basketball side. So it wasn't a bad time to be in Champaign, Illinois in those years.
Wow, Darren Williams.
I remember that. I remember that name.
Yeah,
D. Brown.
Darren. Is that the D Brown that played for the Celtics? D Brown, or was it a different D Brown?
No, that's a different D Brown. That D
okay,
Brown,
all right.
Yeah,
okay, that's different D Brown. Okay, I got you. Okay,
all
right. Okay, cool.
Hey, tell us about now. University of Illinois was great. You had great experiences. Now it's time to make the next phase in football, the NFL draft. Talk about that process, getting drafted, and how that was, and getting on your journey to the NFL.
So I went undrafted. So I sat there this was when the draft was a long 2-day process. I think it was 2 days. So I sat there for the entire 2 days. I didn't eat nothing. I thought I was going to get drafted. My senior year, I was going into my senior year. I was the number 2 fullback in the country. Still bothered by that because I should have been number 1. But I was the number 2 fullback going into my senior year.
Let me interrupt you real quick. Who was ahead of you? Since it's still Bob, I just want to know who was ahead of you.
I couldn't even tell. It was a guy from Nebraska, I believe.
Okay, all right.
I think it was Nebraska. Who knows?
Okay,
it don't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay, all right.
That's all that matters. He was just a nameless face. He don't even count. I didn't even remember who he was. He was just a person, and I was pissed that it wasn't me. So yeah, I was going into my senior year. I was number 2 fullback in the country. And I ended up getting injured. So I had my knee scoped 3 days before our first game. And I didn't play. Well, no, I did play. I got my knee scoped on a Tuesday and I played on Saturday. And balled out. We were playing here in St. Louis against Mizzou, so I wasn't going to miss that game. But ended up getting a staph infection afterwards. And if anybody knows, which I didn't know, I'm 21 at the time. I didn't know how serious a staph infection was. But I got a staph infection. They were like, man, you could lose your leg or lose your life. You need to. And that's when it kind of clicked. Oh, this is a real thing. So I missed the next 3 games, and I really wasn't healthy until probably week 7 or 8 when I finally was feeling like myself again. So I didn't get drafted. Still had a very good season. I felt 49 passes, but I didn't get drafted. And so I went to the Indianapolis Colts. I sat there through the whole draft. Indianapolis called me at the end of the draft, and my agent and I at the time had put together a list of teams that we gave them grades based on their needs for a fullback. A+ was the New York Giants, and Indianapolis was an A-. So Indianapolis called me. I was like, yes, I'm going. 15 minutes later, the New York Giants called me, and I was like, they were the A+, and Indianapolis was the A-. So I stayed with Indy, and so I was fortunate. I got there, did my thing throughout training camp. Thought I had made the team, and they told me they were going to put me on practice squad. But then they said, we're going to put you on practice squad, but you're going to travel with us to New England for this Thursday night game, because we might activate you before the game. So I'm like, all right. So Thursday morning, they activate me for the game. So I played as an undrafted rookie in the first game of the year for the Indianapolis Colts. Played on all the special teams. Thought I did pretty well, but ended up we had some injuries at some positions. So they ended up cutting me the next day. Supposed to put me back on practice squad, but, sent me home. And this kind of like what I talk about to our kids with the adversity. Like, you got a plan. I made the team. I'm about to do my thing, and boom, it's over. I'm at the crib thinking I'm never going to play football ever again in my life. And so I go home, kind of get my thoughts together. I'm at home for about a few weeks, and then I said, I can't take this. I went back to Champaign to work out with my college trainer, my college strength and conditioning coach. And when the team wasn't working out, I'd be in there. And then I finally got a call from the Atlanta Falcons, and so go to Atlanta. This is still my rookie year. We make it to the playoffs. I get to Atlanta probably like week 12. And then I'm there for the playoff run. And so we make it to the NFC Championship game, and I'm playing again. So playing, make it to the NFC Championship game, lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. And then the following year, training camp come around, I get cut. And so now I'm my second year in the league, going into my third. My second year, I'm cut twice. And so, you really trying to figure out a way to balance everything, and how is this supposed to go, and what the hell am I supposed to do, and trying to figure it out. And so Tampa ends up calling me in 2006. And so I go to Tampa, I play there, go to training camp, do all of these, amazing things. I was doing my thing in Tampa. Boom, Tampa cut me. And so now you've been cut 3 times in 3 years. It's probably time to start getting a regular job, right? And so I'm frustrated, figuring things out. Get a call from Pittsburgh in the middle of 2006. And in 2007, I was the starting fullback. And in 2008, I won the Super Bowl as the starting fullback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so for me, it's things ain't always going to go as planned. Going into my senior year in college, I'm the number 2 fullback, should be number 1. Y'all got to see me, right? I'm about to go get this money. I'm about to go get paid. I'm about to do everything I have plans to do. And then life happens. And so how do you adjust, and how do you bounce back, and how do you keep working through it? And, you can quit, or you can keep fighting through. And I just refused to quit. I knew I had talent. I knew, truthfully, I had never felt like I had been beaten out fair and square by anybody. It's just a numbers game in the NFL, and you got to find your place and find your team where the numbers fit. And so I made a name for myself when I got to Pittsburgh, and I did my thing. And I was fortunate to become the starting fullback and to become a Super Bowl champion.
The up and downs is real. It's real. Yeah. I mean, just to hear that, it takes a lot. And you being a coach, you can telling these kids, you gotta let them know it's nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed, especially if you could be the top athlete with one injury away and you could be done. It could be a career over, especially in the sport of football, where it's so violent at some times, as we all know. But I just want to take this time to apologize for my team that I love. The former Washington Redskins that did cut you as well.
They did. Yeah, I ain't even get to them.
My organization, I must say, my organization is terrible, Mr. Davis. Okay, I'm gonna say it like that. Okay, sir. They are the worst organization ever. I'm a players only type of fan. You know what I'm saying? So we about to
got a president and Jason Wright. That's my guy. So I'm gonna lay off of him a little bit. Jay Wright gonna get it together, man.
Yeah, and we about to get rid of Danny Boy. So things are looking up right now. But Yeah, just had to tell you that, man. I
No,
apologize for
appreciate
them.
it. It's all good, man. It's life, you know. It's about how you respond.
Yeah, you're right about that.
As Miss Dub says about perseverance, you know, nothing is over until you win. You know, and that's
or
the
learn.
word.
Yeah,
That's the
learn a
word
lesson
right there,
from
man.
it. Yeah.
And speaking of winning, you won that Super Bowl. You got that ring. You know, tell us about that whole Super Bowl experience. You know, that whole that season playoffs, all the way up until that moment. Tell us about that.
That season was amazing, man. We had a great team. We had some dogs on that team. You know, Hall of Famers. Troy just got inducted. Hines will be inducted. Ben will be inducted. You know, it was and Debo, James Harrison is on the ballot. Like it was a lot of talent, man. And so, you know, for me to be a part of that organization, which I think hands down is the most, you know, it is a first class organization, one of the best ran organizations in all of sports. And it starts at the top, man. It's like, you know, I got to Tampa, I got to Atlanta, I got to Indianapolis. Those were all great places. But when I got to Pittsburgh, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, every man in that room, player, came and introduced themselves. And it was just what they did. Hey, I'm Hines Ward. Nice to meet you. Hey, I'm Troy Polamalu. Hey, I'm Ben Roethlisberger. Nice to meet you. And I'm like, man, I know who y'all are. Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah. So, you know, that starts at the top. That's a standard that is passed down from years and years of success and kind of how you do things and how you carry yourself. So that to me stood out. And so that 2008 season, man, was just amazing, man. We had three of the toughest battles with the Baltimore Ravens. You know, we played them in the AFC Championship game. We played them twice in the division. We played them a third time in the AFC Championship game at home. We won all three of those games. And so, you know, it was just a hard-fought season. And for me, I mentioned that Tampa cut me once. They actually cut me twice. I went in 2005 after Atlanta released me, and I went back in 2006. And so Tampa cut me twice. We won that Super Bowl in Tampa. And so for me, I don't know, it was when it got to the point where, you know, all we had to do was take a knee, man, I couldn't even control it. My partner, my little big brother, Willie Colon had to grab me and get me in the huddle so we could take this knee because I was just out of it. I mean, I am winning a Super Bowl in a city that told me I wasn't good enough, not once but twice. And so, you know, you can't write that. It ain't nothing you can tell me that I know. You know, you work hard, you do the right things, you take care of your business. It might not always go the way you want it to, but it's gonna go exactly how it's supposed to go.
Hey, that just hearing about winning the Super Bowl. I mean, look, obviously, if that's what you've wanted to achieve, especially at a younger age, and you reach the pinnacle, you know, I can only imagine what that feeling is. And you basically, you know, you're living proof that, you know, that can happen to all of us. But, you know, well, not all of us. People who, you know, you can achieve your dreams if you really work hard towards getting the dreams.
Right.
I'm not going to win a Super Bowl. but you know, you've talked about some teams that you were on, and I don't want to gloss over this fact. You played with Peyton Manning. Yeah. Tell us about the. And we got a few more players. So I'm, you know,
I played with a few guys. Michael Vick is another one. You know,
on the list.
I've had some really good teammates and some really Peyton to me, hands down, is probably the smartest. Him and Troy defensively, Peyton offensively are probably the two smartest football players I have ever seen in person. Just their ability to understand exactly what was going on. You know, Troy was the type of person. It's always funny. We would be playing cards, you know, in the players' lounge, and Troy would be in there hanging out, but he's in there watching film. You know, where we kind of decompressing from watching all the film, he's decompressing by watching more film. And so, just the intellect. People often think that, you know, football players, you know, hit people, but it's a lot of intelligent, high-level thinking associated with playing that game. And those two players, Peyton and Troy, exhibit that on the highest level, which is why they're Hall of Famers. I mean, they are, two guys that you couldn't get anything past them. Troy could tell you based on, down and distance, where the receiver was aligned, where the ball was on the field. He could probably give you what play they were going to run to about 80 to 90% accuracy. And when you have that along God's given athletic ability, you're going to make unworldly type of plays. And that's what he was able to do. And Peyton, same thing, understanding defenses, understanding what they were trying to do or what they were planning to do, right before the snap, and knowing where the ball needed to go and how to get it there. It's just a different level of understanding and thinking that those two brought to the game. And I played with some really, really good players, but those two stand out in terms of just their high intellect in terms of the game of football.
But I got to ask about Michael Vick then, man, watching the electricity, watching it in real life. You know what I'm saying? We see it on TV, but that to actually be on the field beside it and the way, how fast, how good was it?
Mike was different. I mean, athletically, you would have a hard case to put anybody else up there with him athletically. Just God-given, and not that he didn't work. He just was so talented, so fast. I mean, he threw that ball. It's people that play, if you play football and you catch passes from a right-handed quarterback, it is vastly different catching one from a left-handed quarterback. And he could spin it. Like he's gonna give you everything you need. You better have your hands ready. You better be ready and prepared to catch that ball because it's coming. And he had, and it's just a flick of the wrist for him. He didn't even need to step into it, but just God-given talent, man. And to see it in person, to see the work ethic, to see the talent and the work ethic and how it all came together was amazing. And a solid dude, really good dude. All of them, most people in the locker room that you deal with are really high character people, man, and really good people to be around. And Mike was no different.
Besides the picture, the media sometimes try to paint.
Yeah, they. I say they, and like I ain't in the media now, but they got a job to do. So but it's up to us as athletes to shift that narrative, to make sure that what they see or what they say is not accurate and it's not true, and it's on us to make sure that we do the right things to make sure that narrative doesn't fit what they say it is.
That's a great point. That's a great point. You're saying
speaking about what it's saying. We've done this a few times on a few of the shows, and we like to bring up some pictures, and we want to know, what is that picture saying? What is that picture saying to you? So we got one that I think that's from the way back. We got one from the way back. So if we can get that picture put up there, what we want to know, what are these pictures saying?
Hey, that one with that Illinois hat on. He was like, he was a football, what I'm saying, like really with it, loved the game. That's probably me at 28. And so that's just like me really getting to football. I was back at Illinois for a spring game, and I was one of the guest coaches. So I really, the intensity, I'm smile. I always smile, but the intensity and the mindset just was really getting after it. That one in the middle, I moved to LA for a few years and was doing some acting, and so that's my that's on the red carpet. That's me, out on the red carpet. I think it was a McDonald's something like that event that we were at, and so yeah, that was a great time too, because I love film. I love, how film and TV can alter people's perspective. We talked about images and things of that nature. What you see on TV can change your mindset and change your life for how you see things and how you envision things. So that was then. And then this last one, obviously, I'm a little more grayer, a little less on the top. a little older, but I think that one on the right, I think the older version is a little bit wiser and maybe not as aggressive as the one with the orange hat on.
I don't know. That one in the middle looked like he about to release an R&B single out there. That
Hey, I sing too. Well, I did. So I stayed busy, man.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about this, tell us about that transition out of the game of football, playing as a player, and moving on into, life after football. Tell us about that journey, because I know that's a journey within itself as well.
That was probably
how do you navigate?
That was probably one of the hardest journeys of all. Like being cut and having to, you have perseverance and having the ability to fight through things athletically. It came naturally. Like I'm not a quitter. I'm not a person that's gonna fold under pressure. But when you've been doing something, I started playing football when I was 12. I started playing sports when I was 5. And so when you've been doing something competitively for 25 years, and now all of a sudden you're unable to do that, it was that transition was extremely difficult. I mean, I tell people like, so, and this is not, no woe is me type of deal, but I was 31 years old, had never been on a job interview, had never gotten my own insurance. You think about it, from birth to 18, my mama did. And then from 18 to 24 or 22, 23, the University of Illinois did. And then from 22 to 30, 31, the NFL team did. I ain't never had to get my own primary care physician. I didn't even know what that was. And so here I am with pains in my knees and in my shoulders. And I'm like, who do I call? I don't even know. And so that transition, like 30 years old, I'm 10 years behind some of my friends, 12 years if they ain't go to college. And so, just really trying to navigate that space and understand how to, I guess, try to figure out how to move around in society without being a professional athlete. It was a task. It was difficult. And football was a love of mine. It really, coaching is it give me that feeling, but nothing compares to, running out of a tunnel and going to put that helmet on and going to hit somebody. And so football also, it left me. So it felt like a girlfriend that I had been dating for so long, and she just stopped answering the phone. Man. But I can see her. I can see her. He dating still, but she dating a younger version of me. This boy young, he handsome, he's strong, but she don't even answer the phone when I call. Like, we love each other, baby. What happened? She's like, nah, this is a young man's game. I'm done with you.
That's exactly what I call radio for the longest time, man.
Yeah.
Radio, radio business. It's like when you have to, that mentality you have to take, that mental strain is real when you stop, when you're not doing something that you loved for such a long time, and that's all you know.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of upset when you say that. I kind of get upset at the NFL because it's like they should have programs set up for these players to teach them that. And I know they don't have to. I know that you're a grown man, you got to do but you're changing these young men's lives. You're giving them millions and millions of dollars. Some are, I'm sorry, not everybody, but some are making the millions. But if you give somebody $400,000 a year, that's life-changing money. That's just call it what it is. So to set them up, just to give them some type of knowledge of society, of everyday life, to do it on your own, to take care of yourself. They're getting coaches to be a man, but there's life lessons that you need to understand about basic business. And I think that's more or so of something the NFL should have taught. That's just my 2 cents, man. I have a hard line on the NFL, the NCAA, when it comes to how they treat our young black men. as the products that they are.
I agree with that. It is. I mean, it's kind of left up to you. You know what I mean? Like it's a tough task, right? Because when you get to the NFL or you get to the NBA or Major League Baseball, whatever, your job is your job. Like you got to focus on that job, but you also have to always be thinking about when this job is done. And so it's hard to split, your attention and focus on other things, even in the off season. Like, my off seasons would be 3 weeks, maybe a month, if depending, but I got to get back to training. And so, it's not really an off season because you're always working, but you really do have to. And I think it starts in college, getting in a major that you really want to major. And, a lot of these schools put everybody, you see, y'all read my bio, it was sport management. That was the major that we do, sport management, speech comm. Y'all go do this major instead of, something that could be used when you get done, journalism, broadcasting, engineering for those that want to do it. So I think it starts in college and having, people around these young men and women, these young student athletes that understand what this life is and how it goes and preparing them and explaining to them what they should be doing and how they should be doing it. But, the NFL, NBA, those are businesses. They going to look after the business first. And, you just gotta understand that come with it.
Yeah. It's hard. It's a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. You change your life, but it's some lines that I think they take that it should be more geared toward the athlete. But that's just my little 2 cents. But I'll let you do your thing, T-Bone.
Well, I know that we got a few more things, but because this came up earlier and some things went on in the chat where we talked about highlights and you were talking about highlights earlier on in this conversation. There was something that came up and I haven't seen as much into it or read as much about it, but there's somebody's favorite player out here named Deion Sanders, who's the coach of Colorado. I call him Mountain Time these days. And it came out that apparently Coach Mountain Time is kind of holding on to some people's highlight videos. So I just want to get your quick take on that based on the story that's been out there, that alleged story, I should say.
Yeah, I heard about that, him not releasing those videos. I'm not a fan of that. It's like anything else. If somebody don't want to be with you or be around you, let them go. Give them their stuff. Let them take off and do whatever they need to do, because there's nothing to be gained from keeping that. We talked about, bad publicity, bad press. There's nothing to be gained if that is happening from doing that from those young men. And so for me, if my son decided to transfer from Colorado and was not getting his highlight film or any film that had him on it and would allow him or help him, assist him in going to the next school, I would be upset. I would be hot, because if you don't want him, what you mad about? That at the end of the day, what we mad about? Give him his stuff and let's go on about. And now maybe if you're Colorado, you're looking at it, I don't want anybody to get our plays or our schemes or all of that. Maybe that has something to do with it. But at the end of the day, it's enough film out here for coaches to scour through and figure out what plays you run on what down and distance. I just told you, Troy could tell you what play was going to be run based on, what personnel you were in and what the receiver was aligned. So it's going to be found out either way. So if that's the issue, I don't know if that is, but, get them young men they film so they can go on about their day.
Especially when your advertisers being as empowering and uplifting for young men. Are we talking about what's best for the players out here? Are we talking about what's best for a school that makes lots and lots of money off the backs of young men? Anyway.
I just hope those allegations are just what they are, allegations. I hope that's not really what's going on with that film with Deion, man, because I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick. So, we've talked about playing, we've talked about coaching, but you do something else kind of similar to what we're kind of doing here right now. You do a lot of talking on the radio, except this podcast. It's brought to you on YouTube every Wednesday evening. You can check us out here on all the different avenues that we have. I wasn't ready to do that yet, but yeah, that's right. 314 Sports Talk on Twitter, the Platform Sports Talk Show on Facebook, at Platform Sports Talk on Instagram. You can check us out on Roku TV. You can see us in high definition and see all of our faces out there. And by the way, when you're watching on YouTube, which we really do enjoy for you to do, make sure that you like and subscribe, and make sure that you hit that
bell.
That's right. So when we go live, you will be
notified.
All right, we've talked about Hot 365 Radio, where you can check us out where it's always hot. You can check us on Twitch TV / Hot 365 Radio, and you'll be able to see us on Twitch and catch us on your phones or your tablets or wherever you look. Maybe even a smartwatch if you can program it to do that. I don't know, but hey, you know what? This week is the Man Cave. Next week is Ladies' Night. That's right. You'll be able to see all the ladies and check out their opinions of sports. And believe me, they have some opinions. You'll be able to check out Joe, Bunny, and the rest of the crew out there. And you know what? It's time to get back to this show because we're talking about the Man Cave this week. I had to go ahead and get that out the way. Missed my top of the hour as it was, but let's talk about 101. Let's talk about what you do. Tell everybody what's going on with that.
Yeah. So like I said, we 7 to 10 a.m. 101.1 FM if you're in St. Louis, or you can check us out on the app 101 ESPN, and you can hear us every morning. We talking Cardinals, we talking Blues, we're talking, the big topics, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. And every day, myself, Brooke, Randy, we all have opinionated ideas and thoughts. And so we go back and forth a little bit and kind of give everybody, we get our thoughts across, and sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, but we have fun either way. For me, it's a great opportunity, and it's fun working with those two because, they are very, very talented, very hardworking people, and very knowledgeable in the world of sports. So it's fun every day to get into it and dig in, man. I enjoy, as you can see, I love sports. I love all sports. I'm a sports junkie, and it's an opportunity to do that every single day, doing something that I love and finding something different where I don't have to run into people, but I can still be involved with sports and be a part of it.
So tell us a little bit about, your career took a lot of twists and turns. How did you find your way into sports journalism?
That's interesting. So when I told you I went to LA, I saw the picture. I was about to drop my R&B single and I was in a movie and a few commercials. But when I came back, I was looking for. I had done some stuff in Pittsburgh, and it was interesting when I was in Pittsburgh. Our public relations people, they would always say, "Carey, you're gonna have a future in journalism, sports, broadcasting, something." They would always tell me that. And I ain't really think about it too much. But when I came back, there was Charter used to do the high school games, and so they needed somebody to fill in one day for one of the high school games, and I actually did. I did the color analyst with Randy Carricker. That was my first time meeting him. That was in 2012, and so kind of got familiar with that. And then I noticed that 101 ESPN was looking for a board, and so the position, like I said, I had never been on a job interview. I had never done anything in terms of, going and none of that. I ain't know nothing, but I saw that ESPN was looking for a board op, and the criteria was no high school diploma needed. We'll teach you how to do everything you need to do. Just be here and do. It was very simple. And so I applied for the job, and so I applied. They emailed me back, told me I had a time scheduled for an interview, and so I'm kind of panicking because, like I said, I ain't never been on an interview in my entire life. for a real job. And so I'm Googling what to wear and what questions should you expect and what questions should you ask when you're offered an opportunity to ask questions. So, I got all of this stuff I done prepared for a couple of days, maybe a week, and got all this stuff in my mind about what I'm gonna do. Got my suit and tie on, looking sharp. And so I go into the interview, and the guy Hoss, Chris, we call him Hoss, Chris Newport, he says, first thing he says to me, he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "What?" I'm scrambling because I done read all these questions and there was nothing in my online that said that this would be a question. So I low-key panicked, like, whoa, this is a setup. He's like, "No, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm applying for the job." He said, "You're applying to be a board operator?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Why?" I said, "Well," he said, "You want to be on air?" I said, "Yeah, eventually." I said, "But how I think, if I'm in the building, eventually I'm gonna get on the air, and I'm willing to work my way up to start here, and eventually y'all will put me on air because I know my work ethic and I know how much I'm willing to put in." And he said, "You know what? We're gonna put you on air this weekend." He said, "The fact that you were willing to apply for a job," he said, "I read your resume. You're a Super Bowl champion. You done did all these things in sports, and you willing to work as a board operator. There's no way." He said, "I'm gonna put you on the air. We're gonna give you a trial run." He put me on the air on Sundays for the the St. Louis Rams post game show, with my boy Mike Young and my boy Anthony Stouter, who is still on ESPN. He gave me like a 3-week trial run. And after 3 weeks, he's like, "Yeah, you hired. You're gonna be able to do this every week." And so that's really how I started with ESPN. It was the fact that I wasn't too cool to work a job that some people might say, "Oh man, I ain't doing that. I ain't, man. I'll work. I'll clean up the building if that's what it takes for me to get in that building."
Didn't let that ego get in the way. That's real. That's real right there.
I don't have no ego. I know my worth. I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table, and I know how hard I'm gonna work. And if you put me in a room with somebody, I'm gonna work my ass off to get to what I need to get to.
Yeah.
And so I'm not concerned.
But after reading your resume, I probably would have said the same thing to you because you were shooting real low there, right there. You were shooting real low.
But again, it was the only job that was on there. It was the only job that I saw. It said board up. I said, "Hey, I just want to be in the building."
Even still, it's always best to know everything. Because even if you would have started out as a board op, okay. If you on the air and some stuff go wrong, you know how to fix it in the meantime. So it's always best to have that type of information of knowing everything. And I think that more people need to take that, to what we talked about earlier when we talked about people, seeing from a distance. Oh, you were a Super Bowl champ, so you were just on air, and like, no, you were willing to do whatever it took to get there, and that kind of showed the person that you really are. Even though you won a Super Bowl, you weren't just coming in here trying to Bigfoot your way into the operation.
They respected that. You got some real respect out of that.
That's real character.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
So
glad you had to start off like me because I started off washing trucks and all that stuff when I first started radio. Yeah. You started.
But it's a grind though, right? We all got a story that get us to where we need to get to.
You're right about that.
And my story ain't no better than nobody else's story because it's our own journey and we all working towards our own goals.
That's real. All right.
So I mean, now that you on the show, you talked about that you love all sports. So I mean, how is that covering some of the other sports? Because you obviously know all the technical aspects of football, but how does it work out with hockey?
I love hockey, honestly. Like hockey is if you go to a hockey game, man, and watch I can't skate to save my life. I ain't never even been on a pair of ice skates. I am afraid I will fall down and break an ankle. I do want to try it, but I ain't never done it. But for me, hockey is fun because it moves. It's fast paced. It requires a lot of team effort. It requires a lot of just effort in general and toughness. And so, I often tell people I think hockey players tougher than football players because I am not laying down on the ice to take a slap shot to the face ever. I will not do it. I don't think it doesn't even sound like something that I would want to try out. So, them guys, the way that they work, how intense that sport is, for me, it's fun to watch. And it's, it's exciting, especially if the team is winning and performing well. And at the end of the day, it's still sports. There are concepts and things that take place in the locker room that take place on any team that have those teams that make those teams good or make those teams bad. And, as a former athlete, I can see, and as a coach now, I can see, certain things that are taking place and say, hey, this is probably not going to work out. And look at this, look at the body language, look at how this is taking place. And those are things that you become aware of, the longer you played in the game and the more you coach the game, especially we talked about it earlier, this younger generation of young men. It's a different mindset. So kind of understanding that mindset helps me with all sports and hockey especially.
All right. Well, y'all got any more questions real quick before we or do you have some
I have one question. Since we're talking about sports, would you like to stick around, because I know our next segment is about football. We would love to have you talk.
Hey,
talk a little
stick
football
around
with it.
But if I'm looking up, y'all know the Warriors game will be started. So I've been keeping it cool I'm watching the Memphis and the Lakers game. Memphis up by 8. I've been keeping it cool because if y'all see me keep looking up, that's what I'm looking at.
We got you.
Yeah. I got one. I'm gonna throw one name out there, man. You tell me how you feel about this person, and I don't know how much you've been around him. I'm not sure if you play with this Pittsburgh Steeler, Antonio Brown. You didn't play with Antonio. You didn't play with him.
I missed him by a year. I think he got there in 2010, and I left in 2009. We all got a story, man. We all got a journey, and I know too many people that do know him and are good friends with him. Mm-hmm. I can't speak. I've met him a couple of times, and the couple of times I met him, we gone back while he was playing, and he took pictures with my son and gave him autographs and gave him a pair of gloves and gave him a football. So I can't really speak ill of anybody that I don't know or haven't had any interaction or relationship with.
Do you think it's more so of what we talked about, the perception of what the media has done to him? I've seen looking at it from the outside.
It's that, and sometimes, as I said earlier, some of the things that we do can help, give that perception. So, if there are multiple things that take place, it gives people an idea of who they think you are. Now, that don't mean that's who you are, but that's who they think you are. And until you interact with somebody, you really don't know their motives or know, who they are deep down inside. And so, for Antonio, I think on the football field, man, he's like 1-on-1. He a guy that you can get the ball to and know he gonna make a play. And it's frustrating for me that his talent, he's not able to continue to show that. And again, some of that is his own doing, and some of it is outside factors. But at the end of the day, as athletes, we got a job to do, and our job is to take care of our business and not let other things impact that.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah. That's real.
As we continue our interview here, real quick, let's set the table. We got to let everybody know who we are again. Right above me in the red, we got
Craig Black. What's up?
And above Craig Black, we got
Sadal the Selector, the real estate DJ.
And of course, completing our crossover that we have with 101 ESPN. We've had Randy Carricker on, we've had Anthony Stalter on, and now we have our special guest over here,
Carey Davis.
That's right, and I am T-Bone Funk, as y'all know me on the show. So, hey, look, I think we need to talk about the Battlehawks.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
I know one person really doesn't want to talk about the Battlehawks.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
now,
Oh, yo, now you
there
do.
we go.
I see.
So, the season has just come basically to an end for the Battlehawks. Although, if it was going to end, I don't think that was a bad way for them to go out. Now, I don't know. I mean, I think they did their thing, and circumstances from the rest of the season basically carried over. What are y'all thoughts on the Battlehawks season this year?
Listen. With the Battlehawks, I'm a season ticket holder. I'll be a season ticket holder next season. It's just a rough break. We've had lucky breaks during the season. Big overtime win, last second wins. We put up big points in the last game. Crowd participation was double compared to the rest of the league. It's just that the consistency caught up to us. I think a lot of inconsistent play with the defense, making plays on defense. And the quarterback, I hate to say this, everybody loves AJ McCarron, but quarterback play was spotty. I mean, there was moments in there that he was indecisive, couldn't make plays out there, couldn't make throws. And it just caught up to us, We went 7-3. We wasn't a terrible team. It was just the circumstances of the division we were in. We played in a tough North division, and it just caught up with us. That's all. But not bad. Not a bad season for the Battlehawks at all. In hindsight.
Yeah, I think it was unfortunate how the season ended. Obviously, you go 7-3, and you don't make the playoffs, and you got a 4-6 team that does. I think that's a little bit disheartening. But again, like you said, salute to St. Louis for how they showed up and showed out. Because if you went to a Battlehawks game, I went to the last one of the year. You see the tailgate, and you see the lines of people waiting to get in, and then you see the crowds in there. It was so much energy, for that team and from this city. That you really have to salute. And to a degree, AJ played his butt off that last game. He 420 yards, 6 touchdowns. The thing that you probably talking about, the turnovers were an issue, throughout the year. He turned the ball over. They turned the ball over too much. And I think defensively they had they gave up a lot, especially even in that last game, they gave up a lot of yards and some points. And so, you come back, you work on a few things that can be a little bit different for them next year. And so you would expect them to have a better season. But the thing is, man, and I tell people this, no matter what level it is, unless it's little league, teams ain't never the same. Once you get to high school, that team going to be different every year. You're going to have guys graduate from high school, graduate from college, NFL, NBA, you got free agency, trades, cuts. And so, with the XFL, some of them guys going to be in the NFL next year, and it's good for them. So it's going to be a different team. It's going to be a little bit different team. So we'll see how they bounce back.
And I was just about to ask that because obviously you have experience going from high school, college to the NFL, every year, or, when you go from a transition from one place to another, everything is completely different. So what should we be able to expect from teams? It's not just going to be one team that's doing this because they all started in the XFL this year. What can we expect as far as growth? Like, okay, you've learned the plays. The playbook may change a little bit, but you've learned the system that you're in. If you come back next year, how should we expect for these teams to get better next year compared to how they were this year?
Well, if they still, had the same staffs and had the same, playbook, offense, defense, special teams, you'll see crisper and cleaner play because, one thing when it's a new offense or a new defense and you're still learning the nuances, sometimes you're not in places that you really need to be in. So just learning, from the mistakes, watching film and really understanding what you could have done differently is always beneficial for those guys that'll be coming back. But like I said, it's going to be, you might have new guys elevated to new positions that didn't play as much the year before. So you just got to see how the teams, pan out when everything is done. If those teams are going to be similar, if they're going to be vastly different from what they were this year.
Hey, Carey, let me tell you about the gentleman on this show with me. My brother's on the show with me. I'm the running.
Tell me about it.
I'm the running. My squad in the NFL was the running joke of the whole podcast. My Commodores, my Commanders.
I like the Commodores. You own the Washington Commodores
with a running joke of the whole. And I let them get it off. They joke my team 24/7. It's all good. But then the XFL comes around, and they start talking. I'm not even paying no attention to this XFL. I'll be honest with you. I'm not watching the game or nothing. But they're going every other. They're going caw. We got the best attendance. All this, it's a great team. We doing all this, but they neglect to tell me that the best team in the XFL is the DC Defenders. They don't say nothing about that the whole time.
They left that part out.
They left that part out. So I go back and I'm looking at the standings. I'm watching the game. I'm like, oh, y'all didn't want to say nothing about these defenders that are beating everybody, that got the best record in the whole league. They didn't want to give me none of that. They just wanted to just keep ragging my Commanders, talking about, oh yeah, the defenders are the best team in the city. Yeah, it is what it is. But I just watched the team score 200 plus points in the game and not in the playoffs. That's all I got to say. How does that happen? How do you put up? You put.
I hate to bring up old stuff.
It's like what? What is?
I hate to bring up.
These are.
I wish I can bring up the tape on this very platform, Sports Talk show. Mm-hmm. There was one panelist, that said, and I quote, "I will not be watching a fake league."
Yes.
XFL is not real football. I ain't watching that. I don't care about the XFL. Then he found out he was winning and say, "Oh, y'all ain't gonna tell me? You in DC, bro. You in DC."
I'm in my regular groove. It's like NFL season is off. I'm into the NBA. I moved on. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say anything about nothing, but they just kept throwing it in my face. So I had to look. You know what I'm saying? What I was going to do? Not look and go see what's really going on? I mean, you didn't tell me that my team, even after they beat y'all, I didn't, the group chat is quiet. I'm like, why ain't nobody saying that?
They ain't said a word.
They lost to us. That's what it was. Oh, that's what it was. That's why I'm not hearing nobody.
Quiet. They ain't say nothing today after they played the DC Defenders.
It's crazy, man, but they my brothers, and I
we'll
I am
see
my
this
brothers.
Sunday. We'll see this Sunday when they
hoping that we lose. You know what?
No, I'd actually prefer y'all win. Actually,
I'll let y'all tell me because I'm not gonna be watching. So it's all good. It's all good. I'll be watching NBA playoffs, but go right ahead.
You and me both.
So
I just had to put that out there on my brothers. It's all good.
So we brought his name up earlier, but you weren't on the show earlier. What are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets?
Man, I feel like it was a good trade for both parties. I felt like the Packers had to get rid of him. They couldn't go into the season paying him, almost $60 million and have a quarterback that they don't know if he can play or not, having to pick up his 5th-year option. It was on both teams to get this job done, get this deal done. It was it was a benefit to both teams to get it done as soon as they could. And so I think he's going to add something to that team that obviously they haven't had. They struggled at the quarterback position last year. And with him healthy and playing at an MVP level, man, that's going to be a tough team out there.
I don't know.
Do you think Rodgers still got it? Do you think he can muster up enough, physical ability to get it done? And also, I might add, he does have a little bit of diva tendencies with it, not showing up to OTAs, not. And I know with him being a new team, new players,
New York,
they're going to need him there. Do you think he's going to show up to those practices?
Yeah, he'll show up. I don't think he's going big time him. I think one thing I've learned, man, like, everybody different and everybody got their own groove of how they handle their business. But as long as you show up to work, man, we ain't got no problems. I don't think, they didn't play, the Packers didn't play particularly well last year, but they had, a lot of young receivers that were just getting started last year and really learning the nuances of the NFL and how to be professional receivers. And when you with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, he has standards and expectations, and they weren't meeting them early, but they got much better as the season went on. I was surprised that they lost to Detroit in the playoff game, the last game of the year that would have took them to the playoffs. But all in all, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a man on a mission, and they got a whole lot of talent out there in New York for him to throw the ball around to and hand it off to.
Well, you know what? While Aaron Rodgers is out there doing his thing in New York, the Packers may be, looking to find someone new coming out. And a good place to find somebody new, the NFL draft, which is coming out tomorrow. So, real quick, thoughts about the draft?
Man, I think this first pick gonna be interesting. Because they done. It sounds like somebody done talked themselves into Will Levis. So,
yeah.
If that happens, man, you're gonna see some teams scrambling, their ass off trying to figure out what's next. Because, I think teams kind of have their board set up. If Bryce Young goes first overall, then they kind of know what the next 3, 4, 5 picks will be. But Will Levis getting drafted, and they the odds done changed and all of this. There's been talks. I don't know what's gonna happen. I always find it interesting to the thing I find interesting, the most interesting, is that we could watch all the film in the world. Film is extremely important in evaluating a player and how talented they are. And all of these guys watch all of this film, these GMs, all these people, and then they decide that what a person looks like in T-shirt and shorts is what makes them want to sign somebody and do something differently. I find it absolutely amazing.
Richardson.
Right.
Little allergies.
Well, that it is interesting. You got all this film from high school to college to everything that they've done, and then it comes out to what's that combine? What's happening out there? What's everybody look like once we just put them in this thing that doesn't really actually equal up to actually playing football, but in real games anyway. So, we've talked some XFL, we've talked Aaron Rodgers, we talked about the draft, and I think somebody's about to go right now, Craig.
Right when we're talking about the NBA.
Gotta dip out of here, fellas. I appreciate it. Hey, Carey, coach, it's good to meet you, sir.
Nice meeting you too,
much
bro.
success on the show on ESPN. Much success with the football team over there at Hazelwood. Want y'all to make sure y'all check me out on my website, thecraigshillsfoundation.org. Community Cuts for Kids is coming, St. Louis, 22nd year. We have 3 locations over 2 days, August 5th and 6th. But you know what? Right now, I need barbers and I need stylists to volunteer their time. So shout out to Smoooth and the whole platform, Sportstalk Network, for supporting me. So please go to the website, thecraigshillsfoundation.org, helping me get it out there to all the barbers and stylists that want to volunteer. We need you to support our kids. Once again, we give them haircuts, hairstyles for boys and girls ages 5 to 18. Go to the website, thecraigshillsfoundation.org, and you can register right now, St. Louis. And we also be in Belleville, Illinois. All right. But I'm out, fellas. Y'all have a great rest of the show. Once again, Coach, good to meet you. And
appreciate it, bro. Same here.
Go Defenders. How about that? DC Defenders, baby. Go Defenders.
And the Commodores.
And the Commodores. Y'all have a good one, fellas.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
So I mean, I guess look, you about to look at the Warriors game, so I guess it's a good time to talk about what's going on in the playoffs. So if we can get those playoff brackets up, so we can see where is everybody at right now.
Yes,
looks like we balling. You know what, Sadal? This is more your lane, so I'll let you go ahead and run through these.
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot.
On the spot.
Well, right now, they're a little bit small. I cannot see them.
Well, that's all right. I can tell you what. Let's start with the East. Let's start with round one. We still in round one. We got the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat. Where are we at with that? What looks like the Heat are up 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the Heat are going to take this one from the Bucks?
Man, this is tough, man. I mean, Antetokounmpo, and is he there? I mean, I don't know. I can't really say. It looks like that he's going to take it, but it looks like we have a winner in the next series. Just a quick update here. We're gonna get to that, but I just think the Heat can take it, man. Jimmy Butler had a big night the other night, so man.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler went for like 56, I think, and you know what the Heat were able to do with Giannis getting injured and missing a couple of games. He came back last game, but it's I mean, Jimmy Butler different, and it's fun to watch a guy just ball and not worry about all the other stuff and how the Heat played last game. The Bucks' back is against the wall. We'll see if they're able to get this fifth game at home. We'll see what they're able to do, but if not, you know, it's obviously a wrap if they don't win this game at home. But Miami ain't gonna let up off of them, so. That's an interesting 1-8 series where you don't usually expect the AC to be dominating like they are.
Jimmy Butler is just a giant killer. That's what he is. That's just exactly what he is. He goes up against the toughest opponents and just kills them every time. Yeah. He doesn't even pay attention to where they are in the bracket. Doesn't matter. He's gonna compete every time.
Well. We went from 1-3-1 series to what we at the time of this snapshot, we had a 3-1 series between the Knicks and the Cavaliers, but we just had some breaking news. Sadal, you want to go ahead and announce that breaking news to the people out there?
Rejoice, rejoice, New York Knicks fans. You finally have a winner on your hands. The Knicks have beaten the Cavaliers. I repeat, the Knicks, the New York Knickerbockers have beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers.
You gotta say the whole name.
Yes. I know they are happy in New York.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It has been
a
long while.
They had something to cheer for.
So, yes, they will go on to the semifinals, conference semifinals.
Yeah. And likely, well, now, okay, it's been a while since I've paid attention to the seedings, but when we get to the next time, do they reseed or do they just go straight through?
They go straight through. So they don't do the reseeding like the NFL does. I'm pretty sure. So the Sixers will be playing the winner of the Hawks and the Celtics.
I wanted to make sure. I didn't want to, it's always better to ask questions than to just assume. So. Yeah. Next, we got the 76ers featuring, they went ahead and took out the Nets, but I think that we pretty much all saw that coming, didn't we?
Yeah, that was pretty much a done deal.
Without Joel Embiid in the last game.
Yep.
It is interesting how they wound up facing each other in the playoffs based on, what we know happened with trades throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they're there. So, yeah, they got decimated throughout the season.
All right. Yeah. So then, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the Brooklyn Nets, the fact that they, even had a pulse at any point with all, as you said, all them trades, all them, the movement that they had. Hats off to them for fighting through, but they were undermanned with Joel Embiid and the 76ers playing the way they were playing.
I mean, it's almost kind of like they were a diesel train. Like, they started out slow, they got going throughout the season as it went, and then by the time all those trades happened, they already had so many wins and stuff by that point. It was almost inevitable that they were going to wind up in the playoffs at that point. It was just a matter of where they were going to be. So it felt like they were slipping week by week, but they made it in. They lasted and got where they needed to be, and they will be, going home and sitting out because the 76ers took them out, and they will be facing the winner of the Celtics and the Hawks, which is an interesting series as it's 3-2 right now.
Yeah, I think the I'm still rooting for the hometown, kid, Tatum, Jason Tatum. So I'm pick the Celtics in this one. I think they're gonna win and beat the Hawks, pull it off. Hey, there's an interesting fact that I read here. Game 6 will be in Atlanta, I believe, right?
Yeah, should be.
Right. So on the same night, there's a Janet Jackson concert scheduled in the same building.
That means somebody didn't have faith in their team. That's what that means.
I didn't see that.
What are they gonna do?
Well, Janet's concert got pushed back like a day or so, or it's postponed. I don't know if it's been pushed a day or so, but yeah, they resolved that. We saw this happen a few years ago with the Denver Nuggets and WWE, if you recall, Pepsi Center. They apparently assumed that the Nuggets were not going to make the playoffs, and apparently they did, and they had booked Monday Night Raw for that time. So it was pay-per-view, one of the two, but. Yeah.
So they did push the Janet Jackson concert back to Saturday. So the NBA will not play second fiddle to Miss Jackson.
Oh no,
but that's not okay. Hopefully,
I love Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if I can find a way, we'll be going to see Janet Jackson this weekend coming up.
I will be there.
So yeah, we trying to figure out what we're gonna do with our babysitting situation, but we're gonna get this figured out. But somebody else who needs to get some things figured out is the Los Angeles Clippers, because right now they are out of the playoffs because the Phoenix Suns took them out. Fellas, any words on that?
Man, Kawhi Leonard, man.
Yeah, yeah. No, go ahead. That's what I was gonna say.
Man. I think that's the biggest thing in this one right here is like the health and future of Kawhi Leonard. With his torn meniscus in his knee, people are saying, man, will he continue next year? Will he continue, period, with his career?
It's like his body is deteriorating in front of us, man. And, I'm one of them people that always say, man, just play through it. You can fight through it. But the fact that you hear that he had a torn meniscus, he got to sit out multiple playoff games. And I've always been against the load management, but when you see what he's dealing with and going through, it kind of made me want to pull back them thoughts, because maybe he's the one that started load management, right? And so you understand now why. I mean, his body is falling apart, and that's a tough thing, man, to witness in real time, because this dude is a hooper. And so, to see him falling apart is a tough thing, man.
What was it? About 10 years ago, he was my favorite player when he was with the Spurs, and they were going back and forth with the Heat back then. That was my favorite player at the time. So, we hope that he can come back strong and stick with a team for a while, huh? How about that?
Yeah,
he might, man. I don't know. We'll see.
You don't want to speak ill on him yet, but ain't looking good.
No.
All right, so we got as we're awaiting the Warriors and Kings game. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that one. Warriors and Kings. Where Well, you said that you're a Warriors fan.
I think there's somebody's playing the Suns in that second round.
I was going to get to that, but I had brought up this.
Oh, okay. We don't want to slight nobody. We don't want to acknowledge anybody.
All right. Yeah. Since you want to talk about it, go ahead, Sadal. Go ahead and talk about the Nuggets taking out the Timberwolves. What you got to say about it?
The Nuggets took out the Timberwolves as expected.
Man, I'm surprised they went 5 games. That should be the only surprise there.
Right.
The crazy thing, so when they made it in from the play-in tournament, I sent my kids this video. It's a video where Mike Conley is doing his post-game press conference, and he's basically saying, we got to lock in. We can't be playing video games. We got to get guys dialed into the playbook and prepared. And no exaggeration, he's doing his post-game press conference, and he gets done, answers. That's how he answers the last question. And you can hear Karl Anthony Towns coming into the press conference saying, "Hey, we on Call of Duty tonight, Mike." And it's like, bro, wow. You can't even make this up. You can't even make this up. This man is so worried about Mike Conley, the veteran, the leader, the guy that has been doing this for so long, wants to win a championship, a hooper, is talking about we got to get guys off the video games and locked into what we doing. And here your star come in right behind him. We on Call of Duty tonight, Mike. And the whole, everybody in the press conference, he just said y'all need to get off the game. And I sent that to my team and I told them, I said, hey, this is why they're going to lose. I thought it would be 4 games. It was 5. But I said in about a week, he gonna have all the time in the world to play Call of Duty.
That was his. We're live, pal. That was
right. We're live.
Here's what it is, man.
Man.
All right, so
let's get back to that. Let's get that graphic up again. Let's see what we got.
So let's talk about the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. I mean, it's tied 2-2. We know that there's been some shenanigans going on.
I like that. I'm all for the shenanigans.
What are your thoughts on this series between the Kings and the Warriors? Battle of California.
We got a dogfight on our hands right here, man. It's first of all the Kings. Congratulations to them because we were just talking. They were like also rans. We weren't really thinking about them even making the playoffs, and now here they are. They playing tough against one of the best teams in the league. But I think it's been a good fight. But I think the cream rises to the top, as Macho Man would say. I think the Warriors is gonna take this one.
Yeah, I agree. De'Aaron Fox got a finger issue. I'm a 80s baby, so I grew up watching the Bad Boys beat up on Mike. And so if you got to take a slap to the hand, I mean, I ain't condoning violence, but it is basketball. And if a person is injured, I can tell you, I would always tell the trainers, don't wrap up one ankle, wrap them both up, because I don't need nobody knowing which ankle is hurt. Just the price of doing business when you playing for a championship. So I think the Warriors will get this win tonight. I'm looking forward to this game starting here in about 20 minutes, I guess. I hate that it's so late because I got to get up so early, but I will make a sacrifice to watch it. But yeah, man, the Warriors for me, I just love the way they play basketball. I love how they share the ball. They connected on offense, and when they're locked in, they playing high level defense, and it's fun to watch. As long as they don't turn the ball over, the Warriors are one of the toughest teams to beat. They beat themselves more than I think teams beat them just by being careless with the ball and not rebounding, and that's just a lack of height, not will. They got some guys that aren't big enough to get on the glass or do it effectively enough. Those are really their only 2 issues: rebounds and not taking care of the ball. If they do that, they don't really have much trouble in basketball games.
Well, speaking of California teams, there is another California team out there that's still left in the playoffs, and they're facing the Memphis Grizzlies, that is the Los Angeles Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies. And boy, oh boy, the Lakers are up 3-1. What do y'all think about the Los Angeles Lakers, who right now seem like they're in a little bit of trouble in this exact moment?
Man, I don't even know how they got to this point, but it wasn't looking good. Was not looking good for LeBron and crew. And I would not count out the Grizzlies right now.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't be surprised. Right well, at least right now, that you get, you know. But I'm talking about as in the series. I dare to say I'm gonna make a bold prediction that the Grizzlies come back and win the series.
Yeah, this is an interesting series because Memphis, you know, you had Ja get hurt and miss time. This was been a lot of superstars getting hurt this playoffs to the tune that I ain't never really seen this many guys go down and miss games because of it. Like superstar players, you'll have role guys might sprain an ankle, but you done had hand injuries and knee injuries and, you know, all types of stuff. So this is back injuries with Giannis. But Memphis, they beating the Lakers right now 110-96, and it's been, I don't want to say it's been that close, but they are they're a different team when they're playing well and when Ja's playing well. And as much, like I'll never say that I think Michael Jordan is the greatest player to ever play the game. I think LeBron is top 3, top 2 or 3, depending on if I feel like it's Kobe or not. But I think LeBron is getting a little older, man. I think we watching it in playoffs right now. He looked gassed a couple of times, and this is the first time that I've ever seen him gassed. And that was like eye-opening to me. It brought him back to life because you normally don't see that happening with him.
Well, Father Time catches up to us all, man.
Yes, there was that playoffs against San Antonio where he was in some trouble with when he had the cramps. But hey, you know, and undoubtedly he is getting older. I think we're the same age, so my hair's not what it used to be. And
I just gave up and just cut it all off, man. You know,
we're all getting old, and you know, right now it's about time for us to wrap some things up. The show's about over, and you know, we want to thank you for being on the show this week and being our special guest, sharing your story and letting us know, you know, what the life is like of an NFL Super Bowl winner, local radio host. You know, we just appreciate you taking your time out and being with us and sharing some stories with us.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all got a fantastic show. Have me back on anytime. I would love to be a part of it, man. I had a great time.
All Absolutely. Right. Well, you know, real quick, if you could just stick around real quick. You know, folks, this has been the Man Cave, and well, Ladies Night's coming up next week. We'll see y'all next week for the Ladies Night.
Hello. What you doing?
All right, fellas, great show. Carey had to go ahead and leave, so he's not on anymore. But once again, excellent show, great questions, and great flow. Love what y'all did tonight, man.
Hey, T-Bone, you held it down, man.
Yeah, natural, ain't he?
Yeah.
That was a hard show for me, but you know, I'm glad I got through it.
I was sweating during the NBA. I had not watched not nan game. I'm going out. I'm going on the memory of what I seen on the Talking Head shows. I haven't seen not one game.
No,
man.
like I said, y'all held that down, man. You know, y'all naturals with it. So definitely appreciate y'all, and you know, enjoy y'all week off. And well, probably not that the Battlehawks are done at all, unless you know you have a request to come on. I guess you'll be gone for a minute until next man cave.
We'll see what happens. There is baseball. I'm following baseball.
We can split the hours because that first hour is really hard for me to get to. I gotta tell you, because usually
I don't know about splitting the hours because you know there's some weeks I can't make it, but you know I'll make it when I can, definitely.
Yeah. All right,
fellas. Well, y'all have a great rest of y'all week, and see y'all soon.
All right, y'all.
All right now.